Welcome to After the Q&A. I'm Shiza Pasha, coming to you live from Advocacy Day at Philanthropy New York, where it's a full day of advocacy training tools that our foundations, our members can use to push their voices further. Today I'm joined here by Kaberi, Banerjee, Murthy of Brooklyn Community Foundation. Thanks so much for joining, Kaberi.
So pleased to be here.
What did you think of the morning session today?
It has been really interesting. I mean, I will say this is an area that BCF is really committed to, so this is not my first session,
Yes.
and I've even heard the Lawyers Alliance before. But I think what's been really helpful is to be able to have it within this context of what is really possible and how we can each play our part within this movement to push advocacy forward and be able to really support it to the full ability of each of our individual organizations. And so I think one of the key components for me is really thinking around what BCF can do in our role as a public entity, as a public charity that is different than a private foundation, and how we have a different line that we can get up to, and how we can begin to get closer and closer to like coming right up against that line. And I think there were a lot of things that they laid out in terms of really concrete tools, in terms of best practices, like some of which I think we're already doing in terms of general operating support and multi-year grants. We have a board member who is a lobbyist, and so we have that expertise on the board. But I think there was a lot of other great food for thought that I want to take back to the foundation to really be able to push ourselves as far as we can.
I'm also wondering, Kaberi, what are some of the areas that you are extremely excited about that BCF is doing right now?
But I think I'd love to highlight the Immigrant Rights Fund, which was established right after the election. It's $1 million 4-year commitment to really be responsive in this era, in this moment. And then also really thinking around what are the policy information that we need to have in order to be able to make really good recommendations. And so one of the other things that we've supported is the independent commission to look at closing Rikers, because even though that is obviously work that's happening outside of Brooklyn, we know that what happens with Rikers will have a disproportionate impact on our borough. So we're also, as a community foundation, not thinking within the geographic confines of where an organization might be housed geographically, but really thinking about like the ecosystem and the systemic impact, and how our investments in some of these types of work can really have a really positive impact on the constituency that we serve.
No, absolutely. It's affecting all the communities, so it's important to advocate on behalf of everybody. Thanks so much for joining me, Kaberi.
Pleasure was all mine. Thanks so much.
Thank you for joining us for After the Q&A.